Hey everyone, it's Tristan here with Guitar by Ear. Today we're taking a look at Chris Martin's acoustic version of the new Coldplay and BTS single, My Universe. We're going to have the capo on the 4th fret, we're going to be in standard tuning, and we're going to look at trying to use the exact same shapes, not from the original recording necessarily, but what Chris Martin is doing live on the Kelly Clarkson Show. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. I'll leave a link right down below. All right, so there's 3 main shapes we're going to be using for the verse. There's a 4th chord in the original recording that he's not using as much in the acoustic version. We'll talk about that as well. So we're going to start off with this fancy F chord. So we're going to put our thumb on the 6th string 1st fret right next to your capo. Then our ring finger on the 5th string 3rd fret. And then our pointer finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And then we're going to leave the 4th string open, the 3rd string open, and I'm muting the 1st string with the bottom of my pointer finger, or even with the bottom of your hand there. You could also mute the 4th string for a slightly cleaner chord, because this can get a little muddy, having that open 4th string next to the 5th string note, but it sounds pretty nice and you can hear it cutting through in his recording a little bit. So this would be like an F, 6-9, no 3rd, or you could call it an F sus2 add 13. The names get a little bit silly, but that's the sound of it. Those are the notes. If the thumb's not comfortable for you, another option is to put your pointer finger on that bass note, put your ring finger or pinky on the 5th fret of 5th string 3rd fret, and then put your middle finger on the 2nd string 1st fret. For me, it's a little more comfortable with the pinky, so we get this. And then muting that with the bottom of the hand there, and also just avoiding strumming the 1st string. So there's our 1st chord. Then we're gonna go to an A minor 7 chord, which is going to be our open 5th string, our middle finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, open 3rd string, pointer finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and we could use the open 1st string here if we want to. And you might hear him hammer on that middle finger on the 4th string sometimes to add a little more flavor there. See, on the 1st strum you wouldn't have it on yet, and then you add it on. It's a nice way to spice it up a little bit. And then we're going to go to a G sus4 chord. So our ring finger is going to go to the 3rd fret of string 6. We're going to leave the pointer finger right where it was on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to mute string 5 with my ring finger. This is important because it'll get very muddy otherwise if we get that open 5th string in there. So we're going to mute that gently with the bottom of your ring finger. Then we get the open 4th string, open 3rd string, pointer finger on the 2nd string, and I'm muting the 1st string. So there's my G sus4. So we've got now on this G sus4, sometimes you can barely hear it, but you'll see his middle finger doing this a little bit. So sometimes he's very quietly throwing in a couple embellishments, doing a little hammer on pull off on the 3rd string, hammer on pull off on the 4th string. Or not necessarily a hammer on, but at least he might be strumming with the middle finger and then doing the pull off after the strum. All right, then on the chorus of the song, we're going to use a shape very similar to what we were doing on the F chord, except instead of having the open 4th string, we're going to use our pinky on the 4th string to double the bass note. So this looks like a big power chord, right? Root, 5th, there's our octave on the 4th string, and then our middle finger is going to go down on that 2nd string 1st fret note. Now you can either use your thumb on the bass note and pointer finger on the 2nd string, that's what he's doing, or what I prefer to do is use the pointer finger on the bass note, middle finger on the 2nd string. It's a little stretchy, but it's easier for my thumb to get those higher up notes when we slide up. So we're gonna have, and then I slid to the 5th position, or our actual 9th fret, 5th fret relative to the capo, and then we're gonna take that same shape and slide it 2 frets to the left. I'm leaving the 3rd string and the 1st string open for the whole chorus. So we've got this. And notice I'm changing to that 2nd chord on an up strum. Then at the end of the chorus, he goes back to using the same shapes as the verse. And then he brings the volume down a little bit by adding in a little bit of palm muting, which makes the chords a little bit quieter and a little bit punchier, a little bit more staccato. Right, just taking the side of my hand here, side of my palm, placing it right on top of the bridge. And then when you want to add a more percussive element, you can lift the palm off and kind of gently hit it back down on top of the bridge there while your pick strums, and that kind of creates this chop effect. So let's talk about the strumming pattern now, right? We've got down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up. But notice, even in between what I'm saying there, there's extra bounces happening. That's because my hand is swinging down and up constantly at 16th note speed. So that means if my foot's going 1, 2, 3, 4, my hand is going 1 E and a 2 E and a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, when we speed that up, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now you might think that's exhausting to do full speed, and you're a little bit right if you haven't practiced it really relaxed at a nice slow speed. A big part of it as well though is the technique. So if our hand is slightly folded like this, we can take some of the weight out of our hand and then do a tiny bit of bounce in our elbow, let our forearm be relaxed, let it be jello, and let all that energy go straight to your hand. It's like shaking your hand to get some water off if it were wet, or if you had something sticky on your hand. We're shaking it like that, as opposed to doing the windshield wiper or the robot and moving our whole forearm. That's gonna use up a lot more energy, right? So nice and loose with the hand here, nice and loose with our pick as well. We don't wanna be squeezing our pick or it'll sound harsh. And that's what it'll look like. So we just got this. And there's slight variations in the way that he strums it, so you need to listen really carefully. And once you find the general groove, you have a little bit of room to improvise with the rhythm yourself, as long as you're keeping that basic groove going throughout the song. So let me play that nice and slow. Down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Take it nice and slow. Don't be afraid to slow this video down. Don't be afraid to go back to the Chris Martin live version and slow that video down and play along with it. Or even before you play along, just listen, get your foot tapping, and get your hands swinging at that 16th note speed. Then once you have the hand moving and the foot going, try speaking the rhythms that you're hearing him strum. Ta, 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 ta. That's a much more natural way to figure out these rhythms on your own eventually, without having to write down or see someone else write down the exact pattern of downs and ups, which we don't really want to be thinking about during a performance anyways. Then in the original song, there's something extra in there, which is on every second phrase and fourth phrase of the chorus, there's an extra chord, right? So instead of just going from F to A minor 7 to G and staying on G, or G sus, we're gonna go from F to A minor 7 to G, and then we're gonna go to C. So you can decide for yourself if you want to include that C chord at the end of every other sentence or phrase, like in the original recording, or if you want to leave that out and just stay on that G like Chris Martin does acoustic. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider hitting like and subscribing. If you're interested in private lessons, you can shoot me an email at the address listed below, guitarbyear@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone.